What do you do if you feel angry? How do you let go of bitterness or resentment? In Psalm 58, David celebrates that there is a God who judges on earth. First, in verses 1 through 9, he makes a case against the evil rulers in Israel. In verse 1, he says, "Do you indeed decree what is right, you gods? Do you judge the children of man uprightly?" And his answer in verse 2 is no. They devise wrongs, they deal out violence. The word gods or lords in verse 1 surely is referring to leaders, and they're wicked. They are acting like serpents, like that serpent of old, the devil. And then David looks to the God of justice and petitions him for judgment. Break their teeth, he says. Cause them to vanish and come to nothing. Sweep them away. David fixes his gaze on God and asks him to act in justice. And this sets the table for David to turn away from anger and to submit to the Lord. Imagine the wrath that David could have felt against a wicked ruler like Saul, who dogged him and threatened his life at every turn. But in verses 10 and 11, David knows that vindication will be his. He says the righteous will rejoice when he sees the vengeance. Or verse 11, mankind will say, surely there is a reward for the righteous. David will rejoice in justice and he will be rewarded by a just God. He knows this and it helps him to submit to the Lord and to have self-control. Imagine the self-control that it took for David to not kill Saul when he had opportunity. Now, like David, Jesus was also mistreated by evil rulers in Israel, wasn't he? The Pharisees, Caiaphas, the Jewish high priest, they devised wrongs against Jesus. They dealt out violence against him and condemned him to death on the cross. But Jesus humbly submitted himself to his Father's will, and he quietly endured the cross. And he was able to do this with self-control because he knew that he would be vindicated. He knew he would rejoice to see vengeance, and that God, the God who judges on earth, would reward him for his righteousness. So how are you doing today processing anger and bitterness? Like Jesus, you can live righteously with self-control and patience by fixing your gaze on God's future vengeance of the wicked. Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Rejoicing and reward will be yours because you know the God who judges the earth. So turn away from any bitterness or anger and release on those, fixing your heart on God by faith.